Hi, everyone. I am Lorri and I'm here with the beautiful Jennifer Gilchrist. And am I saying that correctly?
Yes, perfect.
Jennifer Gilchrist. I want to call you Jen because I feel like I know you. You have this wonderful, expansive spirit that I'm sure everyone can feel right through the screen. And I love that. Your beautiful blue eyes, very gateway to the soul for sure, which is why I'm so excited you're on here because you are my soul empowered boss lady. So I'm excited to read your bio. I'm going to go right into it. Jen Gilchrist, speaker and transformational success mentor. As an entrepreneur for 20 years and a spiritual mentor for 10 years, Jen has gone from struggling single mom to a six-figure business owner, making money doing what she loves. She's very good at it, by the way, and empowering others to do the same. She works with highly sensitive and spiritual entrepreneurs on a deep level, helping them to reclaim the confidence, trust, and tools needed to harness their intuition, align with their purpose, and step into the next level of leadership in their business and life so that they can make a bigger impact in the world while experiencing new levels of freedom of time, energy, and money in their purpose-driven business. She considers being a mom to her beautiful and talented daughter her greatest joy and accomplishment. Her favorite personal pleasure is to swim with the wild dolphin pods in Kona, Hawaii. And Jen has been on close to 40 different dolphin swims with hundreds of dolphins and says that it was both a playful and spiritual experience and that she has learned and transformed herself through these experiences exponentially. I can't wait to talk about all of those things because I know everybody else really wants to hear about those as well. But I first want to hear, I've been talking to a lot of empowered boss ladies. I mean, people who are on local television shows, people who are authors, people who are who straight up boss ladies who started their businesses. I have the doctors. I just like a whole array, but I have nobody who has talked about their journey like you have. You said we talked earlier and we were talking about the hero's journey. I am fascinated by that, and I believe everybody else will be too. So can we start with that?
Sure. Thank you. I just want to thank you too so much for your commitment for creating this beautiful space for all of us and for all of these viewers to be touching base and really have this empowered information. So thank you so much for your dedication and commitment. I always am so inspired by you as well.
So thank you.
Yeah, so these days I love life. These days I feel like I'm very blessed. I love my life. I consider waking up and having Zumba and painting and massage and all of those things as really a part of my everyday work day. And I consider this balance of divinity and action is what really sustains my success and builds my, builds my success in my life, really. We spoke about the Hawaii retreats, and that is a part of that spiritual experience of just going away and being able to celebrate my birthday for about 6 years in a row, swimming with those dolphins in a different place was just that balance of that, giving myself that spaciousness and self-care is what really has sustained me at this time. Now, it's definitely not always been this way. By the age of 30, I had bought my own home in Carmichael. I was a single mom at the age of 20, raising her by myself. I had a successful business, creating six figures within about the first 4 years, really doing hair and makeup. My first business doing hair and makeup, specializing in weddings and hair. And, it's like on the outside, it looked like success. Everything was everything was just going. I was balancing all these hats though, being the mom, you got to network, you're trying to maintain the house and do all of these things. And I was just kind of on this hamster wheel, of what society's version of success looked like. But on the inside, I was just completely overwhelmed. I was just always kind of on this to-do roller coaster. And literally about 11 years now, that life, my ride really came to a crashing halt. I had gone to a friend's birthday party and had a couple glasses of wine. Next thing you know, I was driving home and I ended up rolling my car, flipping it twice, and ending up in a ditch. Right? And it's like, I'm so fortunate that I was not physically injured.
I did not know that.
Yeah, nobody else was involved. I was not injured, but every single window of my car was broken. I had to crawl out of my car. And I just realized at that moment, I felt many things. I felt very alone. I felt very afraid. I felt very much like I had to do life differently now. It's like wine and chocolate. That was kind of like my only way of managing stress at this point. I had no idea about any of these things that I've learned now. meditation and stress release tools in a healthy way. And so I realized, life had to change, but I was really afraid and I felt alone and ashamed and I had no idea how I was going to do life differently. So I prayed. I didn't know what else to do. I prayed and I'm just like, I just want to be happy and at peace. Just want to be happy and at peace. And in response to that, my dear grandfather came to me in a dream. And he passed when I was about 20 or 10 years old, so 20 years prior. I'd really never been able to feel him, but he came to me in this dream, and he woke up something within me. He came there, and it was just like, there's all these turmoils going on in your life, but you're not alone. I'm here. You have, there's angels here. He really woke up this spiritual connection with me that I didn't really have conscious awareness of before in my own experience. So I remember waking up from that dream feeling like this incredible sense of peace and hope in my heart that I'd never felt before, at that point in time. And so it was really impactful. And very quickly after that, it was like synchronicity kicked in. It was just one thing at a time. All of a sudden I felt, guided into reading this book. I think I was on this journey for about 6 to 9 months of reading every self-help book I could possibly, get my hands on. And it just all started clicking to me. My intuition just really blasted wide open. And so I got really, really clear during this time. Actually, I had my first psychic reading. I didn't even know if I believed, what's the psychic? Did I believe in this or not? I didn't know. Maybe some people are. My friend said, go see this woman, and I got a reading and she said I was going to be doing what she was doing within about 5 years. And I'm like, wait a second. I barely just woke up here. I started hearing my grandparents talk to me, but this is all very new. I started seeing angels a little bit, but I'm like, I can't imagine. Well, she was correct. Within about 4 years, I started my second business called Divine Spark Within. That was about 2011. And I, even though I was spiritually awakened, the business didn't really take off. And that was for 2 big reasons. And one of them was that I could not imagine how I was going to show up and share this newly awakened psychic healer, past life mediumship, angel card reading, healer self to the world. I was like, no way, like my family's not going to get it. This is not their system that I was brought up with, their belief system. My wedding friends, my hair clients, I'm like, no way. So I was very compartmentalized in terms of that. And the other reason was my incredible fear of public speaking. Like I was so shy that I literally convinced all of my high school teachers to let me do my oral reports either before or after school, because I was like, there's no way I'm standing up there and doing this.
Wow.
And, this lifelong fear about this was keeping me hidden and small and stuck in my business, right? It wasn't allowing me to be seen, hiding my spiritual stuff in 2 worlds. And then on top of that, just wanting to have the groups very small so I felt safe, right? So at a certain point, God has a funny sense of humor. So I was like, okay, I'm getting serious about my business now. And I found myself at this client attraction summit. And the next thing you know, they're talking about public speaking to grow your business. And I'm like, oh, really? Like that's like way, in the future. I start arguing with my angels. I don't know if you've ever argued with your angels, but I have certainly argued with my angels. And I know that I'm really fighting for my fears in that moment, right? So here I was in this big event with 300 other empaths, which I now know is part of what my overwhelm was earlier in life. But I was there trying to make this decision about, I saw myself speaking on stages and writing books, but I just thought it was way in the future. And I realized that loneliness and that emptiness of not doing what my heart and my soul is really calling me to do was bigger than my fear of public speaking. And so I ended up taking myself outside and like feeling into my body, which I'll share a little bit more about my TLC body meditation with you guys later, to really feel my truth, right? I had gotten to where I could really discern the difference of what does it feel like to be out of alignment or just in fear, where you can feel that fear and leap in the vision direction of your dream anyways. And so that's what I did. And now I love that I get to be here doing interviews like this and leading group programs and mentoring people to really step into that life and leadership that I know that their hearts desire and they completely deserve. So that is where I'm at.
Wow, that's an amazing journey, and how it started and that you had no inclination is fascinating to me, because you hear about people having, been born with gifts and different things, but that you prayed for it, so asked free will to step in, and then your grandfather shows up. Is just, that's an amazing testimony, and what a wonderful experience to have somebody so safe and somebody that you love be kind of one of your mentors to lead you through this journey. And so how did your family take it? Because you had a very, I think I met you first when a long time ago, because I've been in Sacramento area for a while, and we were at networking events together, and I think you were doing your hair and makeup business and were like a rock star. Like you had this huge business doing that. And then for you to switch, how, we as women, when we're super successful, a lot of times we're, they talk about it lonely at the top. How did, and then you switched over to a whole, vastly different, it's not like you went from hair and makeup to becoming an event planner. You like totally switched. So how did your family and clients and friends take it?
Well, it's interesting. My family was raised in a very conservative Christian upbringing, right? So they really didn't get it. And that was really, for a long time, I kind of teetered in two worlds, building one business over here with this set of group and friends, and then this business over here. And there was really a big time, quite a bit of time that there was compartmentalization there happening because they really didn't accept it. And so part of my journey, I think one of my biggest hurdles that I've been worked through over time is the visibility fear, but that manifested in one way is coming out of the spiritual closet. And so it's like slowly but surely I found my way of just not being concerned with their approval, just knowing that, they can see and accept a certain part of me. And even really to this day, they don't really acknowledge this business in the way that I would want them to. Hopefully, it would be great if your family could just embrace and love everything you do, right? But that's not really what it is. And so they love me and I love them, and that can be what it is. And so with my family, that's been kind of a journey in that way for me to really stand in my power and be myself and not shrink to the fear of not having that, praise and approval that I got so much in my other business from them. They're always so proud of me and, oh, my daughter this and my daughter that. And they talk about these things in a very high regard. But whereas in this business, it's something that they don't fundamentally understand. And so I just have gotten to be okay with that. And so we love each other anyways. That's kind of how it is there.
Fabulous. That's great, which we need more of in this world right now anyhow. So that's great. How do you move through, because gosh, moving from such a tangible to an intangible business, how did you move through self-doubt and fear? Did you ever have those moments where, even I still to this day sometimes go, because I keep switching and pivoting and, what I do. And then so I'll have a moment where I'll wake up and go, oh, can I really do this? And then I go, oh, then I just self-talk and go, of course you've got this. And then, but I do have those moments. So what do you do? Or do you not have those? Because you have a team, you have angels, you have your grandfather, you have all this help. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I think we all have fears and doubts and things creep in. I mean, that is just part of the human experience. I think it's part of our mind and our mental, it's part of our coping and mechanism, really, in some ways, some of those fears and doubts. And so how I work with that, to me, it's about really getting to the root of it, right? For me, I really rely a lot and I believe a lot in my morning success routine, where I do some form of meditation and journaling and connecting with myself and, my spiritual support team. And I do some reflecting. So if I'm noticing that mind chatter come up, I think first of all, the more that we can connect with our true self and do the type of meditation that I teach is embodied meditation. So you really are connecting with yourself. You're finding that space of presence, which allows us to have the awareness of that monkey mind chatter going on. We have to first have awareness. But once we have the awareness, then I'll dig deeper and I'll be like, okay, so where is this self-doubt or fear in my body? Or what is this fear? What is really at the root of this procrastination that's happening? Why aren't I getting this done? Okay, something's going on. And I'll take the time to sit with it and do that inner reflection and that deeper work of really looking at, what is this actually? Because I know that if I have something in my heart, and I know that this is true for every one of you, anybody that's watching, that if you have something in your heart that's important to you, that you see as a vision, and your spirit and your heart is just calling you there, that you have everything that you need within you to actually do it. And so because I have such a strong belief in that, I think I'm able to just come back to, okay, so what's going on here? Where is this stemming from? Let's get to the bottom of it, and then we're going to move on.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, and also having others, my spiritual support team for sure, but then also I think being around other driven entrepreneurs and people and women that are in the same kind of doing similar line, if it's not the same line of work, that's okay, but similarly on the journey of entrepreneurialism or being of service in the world in some way is really, really helpful, because I do believe all of us go through these kinds of things, and it's not just going to be a one time, you get over it and then you move, you're soaring high, we just get capable with different tools to navigate them.
And then, so when you had your hair and beauty business, and then you moved out of that and moved into your spiritual business, was that like, okay, today is October 23rd, and like, how did all that happen?
Been a slow transition over the time, you know what I mean? Like really just, I think that for me, I think that different people do differently. For some of my clients, I feel like there can be, when people are making career changes, it can be different for everyone. I think some people go cold turkey and just jump in and say, sink or swim, I'm going to do it. And that can work. For me, very much not. It was kind of a tiptoe, being self-employed all the way around. I really have control of my schedule to start out. I had to start to make space for the other business. For many years, it was like only one day a week, or on my day off, I would do it kind of as a hobby. And then slowly but surely, I started cutting back the amount of hours here and opening up hours there, and just allowed it to be a graceful transition as I was ready. And I really think for me, a big part of that was also working through all my fears. I mean, I had a lot of visibility fears of myself, like really, can I step out here and do speaking? And so you make the excuses, well, I'm busy, I'm working over here. But really, as you start to move through your fears and you start to make space on your calendar and you continue to stake that claim further, eventually, you hop to the other side. At least that's
did you get to a point where you said, no, I don't do hair and makeup anymore? Did somebody come to you and say?
No, I mean, every so often I would maybe, at this time, I love multiple streams of income and revenue and experiences. Yeah. So yeah, but I stopped doing the wedding shows. I stopped going to networking events. I stopped advertising for that. But then if they trickled in here and there, that would be fine. I think I actually did do a friend of a friend's this year even for hair and makeup. They do love it, right? But it's just not where I place my attention or my energy at this point.
That makes sense. And so is your business completely online?
No, I do some in-person work as well. Usually COVID is a
it kind of put the kibosh on some of the things. So you do have, it sounds like you have a morning practice. That was one of my questions. Sounds like is it definitive? Like when you wake up in the morning, like I do my meditation and then I do my gratitude journal. Do you have a definitive morning routine, or is it more, a little bit more fluid?
I have a pretty solid idea of what I'm going to do, but it's different from day to day. So I pull from different tools and practices. I do like to have some form of meditation and journaling as a part of every day, but it might be one day I find that I want to meditate for more of the time, and then just journal for a few minutes. Sometimes I work on a specific like money mindset. If I'm raising my income, if I want to create more money or something like that, and I'm focusing on generating something that's in a specific time, that I might put more attention on that for a little while. But for the most part, I like to start with a grounding meditation, connecting with myself and my body, connecting with the earth, connecting with source, like kind of just being in that, just being connection with self as like a spiritual, I always call it like kind of a spiritual cleansing, really. It's kind of like moving out all the gunk we've collected from the day so we can find ourselves. And then from that space, I will start to use my meditation tools to create, my day. What is my intention for my day? And I start with that. And sometimes that's all the further I get with it. And I just take the time to at least 5 or 10 minutes, connect with myself, call in my spiritual support, set my intention for how I want to feel that day, and move on. And then other days it becomes more the beginning part of really my work day, where I'll start into the meditation and journaling through my own mindset stuff. And the next thing you know, I've got a whole download for a blog and a Facebook Live idea, and a whole program comes in, and from there it just kind of eases into the work day from there.
And biggest challenge of your day and biggest blessing of your day?
Biggest challenge of each day?
Or you could say, you could either go biggest challenge that you faced or biggest challenge of your day, or because sometimes for me, having lots of wobbly lines with my schedule, I can go overextend myself somewhere and not stay on task with my, when you're an entrepreneur, it's easy to do. So for you, what would be the biggest challenge of your day and the biggest blessing?
So I think the biggest blessing, we'll start with that, is is just really connecting with myself. I mean, I honestly, I just love that time. I really cherish that time. It's funny because when you first started having, like for me, being able to have like awareness and presence and knowing that I'm connecting with, I don't know, just being able to be that conscious, powerful creator. And that's really what I love everybody else to know too. It's like just knowing that and connecting and giving that time for myself to play in that wonder of like, well, what do I want to create today? And kind of allowing myself that permission that to consider that something that's non-negotiable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. I also like to bring in Zumba and other things. So I like to have my non-negotiable part of the day, which will include, morning routine, meditation, journaling, kind of my creative place. And then also Zumba is like really fun. Like I love doing that, although this year's been kind of tough because it's not as fun for me to do online. And so, but I do like having that part of my day is like things that I look forward to in terms of how I set the tone. And then my challenges is sometimes staying focused, right? Like sometimes I can tend to bite off more than I can chew, or sometimes I think that we can put a lot on our plate and then realize, oh, I'm not getting through my list, and then kind of spiral into getting less done because you feel overwhelmed. And so I've kind of learned to try to be more gentle with myself if I do that, right? But
Yes.
sometimes biting off more than I can chew and just feeling that sense of like looming lists, so I do my best to just circle my top 2 or 3 things so that I can work on that and then kind of chunk it down so I don't feel that way.
Now, do you go to a retreat with the dolphins? Is that something that you are leading, or is that something that you attend?
Well, those were like something I would attend, but I want to lead. Like definitely going to be leading dolphin retreat trips. I thought that maybe would happen in towards the end of this year, like around this time in the beginning of the year. I thought, well, maybe this is going to be the year, this year or next year for sure. And then so now I feel like hopefully in the next year or so, I think travel will open back up. I love travel, so I want to be. But for me, the spiritual retreats were a gift to myself that I did as a attendee. And I did it was a part of a spiritual group that I did a lot of different trainings and personal development courses with. The leader's Carmen Figueres, and she teaches amazing retreats. And what I love is it's that body, mind, spirit. We're doing meditation work. We have somebody who's cooking healthy organic food for us. We're swimming with the wild dolphins in the morning. There's that, there's just that give to yourself permission that it's all about me. And so for me, that was a space that I reset every year for myself for about 6 years in a row. We're not going this year, and I didn't go last year actually either, but for many years in a row, that was kind of like my retreat, like my reset for the year, where I could get clarity. Because I find, and I know you lead retreats too, when you can not element, you can really just see more clearly. And when you can take off that responsibility and just allow somebody else to pamper you and to give to you and to cook for you, it's like your creativity just really gets sparked. And so
I find that it recharges my soul for sure when I do them, actually, even when I lead them, and then also when I attend them. So I look for both, which is, to be fed and to feed. And I actually have found a nice blend to be able to do it within my retreat. So yeah, I love that you found yourself, and that you're also going to be doing, because I might want to come swim with the dolphins with you. So
I feel like
I would love that. And then as you look forward and into the future, and you're looking maybe a year to 3 years ahead, what do you see for yourself?
So I look into question. One thing I haven't done that I really do want to do is write a book. I have a book in me that I haven't gotten written, and so that's something that I feel like I'm ready to put as a priority. And so I would say writing a book, being a published author. So that's one thing. Leading destination retreats. I really have other places too. I've never been to Bali, but I definitely have a calling to go there. And so maybe I'll go with you to Bali. I think we talked about that. But definitely, having that be a part of my business model. And I really just see myself speaking and teaching and leading workshops around the world. Like I want to be traveling more, and I love the idea of exploring new places. I do love doing online work because it gives you that flexibility, which is awesome. But I also do like just to meet new people and new culture and new situations. That fuels my soul as well. And I know it helps other people grow too. So I look forward to incorporating those things.
So, and you're a single mom, and you have one daughter, and you shared with me a little bit. And how is that juggling being an entrepreneur and being a single mom? Because I know that there's a lot of entrepreneurial women who are also single moms. So how was that journey for you, balancing act between being a single mom and starting a business? Because then it really is like you have two babies.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's definitely about part of it's boundaries. I think part of it is like really one thing that I think I've had to learn over the years is having good boundaries with how I spend my time and my energy and money, all of that. Just really feeling sometimes saying no to things is saying yes to yourself. So sometimes I think it's like you do things out of obligation or you start piling accountable. It's like, no, I have to really get clear, like, what is my priority? What is my focus? And then what am I actually going to commit to? Because I think sometimes part of the issue is committing to things that maybe weren't actually aligning me what was to my highest values and what I actually wanted to create, and that would be off track and overwhelmed. But for the most part, I think it's just prioritize. So then in that to that end, I would say it's prioritizing those things that matter most to you. And so for me, making that space for her and for our time and for some of my own self-care and then my business, and just really looking at it and making sure that I do find time for those important things. We love painting together, so sometimes it's like do work, I could do laundry, I could do these things, but no, we're going to work on a painting.
That's fantastic.
So you just have to just decide that you put those important things on the calendar, I think.
So I'm going to do a few rapid fire questions before we get towards the end. And I just want to ask you, one of the questions is, what would you say to your younger self? You could go back in time and give your younger self some advice. What would you say?
You are so much more powerful than you realize, that you have so much more power within you than you realize, and that you are capable of what it is that you want to create and what you desire, and you're not actually ever alone. I think I think that was part of my story, is just feeling like I had to do a lot on my own. And so really allowing myself to be supported with both my spiritual support team and people to help you, your friends, right? Really allowing yourself to be supported is important.
And then any bucket list items? I know you mentioned travel, but is there like any place in specific that you have in your mind that you would like to go, or anything that you'd like to do? I know we talked about you being an author. That would be I think that's a bucket list, but anything else?
Well, I definitely, I haven't been to Europe. Like, I would just love to go spend a few months in Europe. There's so much over there I'd love to see. One of my things that has been on my, what I would say, a bucket list is coming to fruition as soon as we can travel again, going to Egypt. I think that's going to be an amazing trip. That's planned. That was something that's been there that I never, wasn't sure how it was going to come in, and it came into play. So I'm excited and signed up for an Egyptian to go to the pyramids, which is going to be really awesome. I definitely, gosh, I think travel is a big thing. There's so many places. Bali, Costa Rica, I think is on my list. Europe is on my list. I want to see the Northern Lights. I'm going to manifest being somewhere to see those Northern Lights.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I think adventure and travel. I think being I was 20 years old. I didn't really have a lot of people go and do some of that adventuring in their earlier years before they have children. And I think now it's my time to go adventure.
It's so great. Dog or cat?
I've only ever had dog, but my daughter swears that she loves her cats now. She has 4 cats.
Okay.
Yes, she does in all 4. She says she swears.
It's awesome. Tattoo or no tattoo?
No tattoo. I don't have a tattoo. Not to say I would never get one, but I feel like I haven't felt the what it would be. I can see that they can hold on. I don't have
mountains or ocean?
Ocean.
Yeah, I felt that you would say ocean. How do you recharge?
Sometimes I would say rest and being in nature.
Awesome. And who or what would you bring with you to a desert island?
My daughter.
Aw, that's so sweet. That's awesome.
She's my favorite.
She's your favorite. And then favorite binge food?
Chocolate would be a bit. Chocolate or sourdough bread. Those are the 2 that get me.
And you're human. I love that. I like that. And then any words of wisdom for somebody who's just getting started?
Oh man, just knowing that kind of what I would have told my younger self in some ways, that you are powerful. You have if you have a desire in your heart, you can absolutely do it.
Mhm.
You are a powerful creator to create whatever it is you desire. So stay focused on that vision, stay focused on that dream. Just stake that claim in the ground. I feel like connecting with your why is such an important thing that will carry you a long way, because the journey is a journey. Enjoy the journey as you go along, because it's one of those things that unfolds as you go, and the
Mhm.
answers will come as you need them. Just take those 1 or 2 steps at a time.
Well, you are such a gift to everyone who knows you. And I know that you are going to share something with our audience on how they can connect with you. And so we will be adding a link to the bottom of this so they'll be able to, know exactly what it is. But can you share? Can you tell us about what it is that you'd like to offer to all of the ladies that are watching this, or men?
Yes, for sure. It is. I do. It's the Intuitive Success Kit for the Spiritual Entrepreneur. And so this is going to be really powerful. There's lots of things in there. And really, this is going to be valuable to you if you haven't started your business, as well as if you have started it. There's going to be teaching you the 5 main ways your intuition works with you. And I think that once you learn to tune into your intuitive guidance, is like, that's the biggest gift ever. So there's a video training in there talking about how to connect with your intuitive guidance, whether it's your angels or your higher self, just to guide you as your internal compass. Also going to learn, there's a experience there, the TLC body meditation that I spoke of earlier, which stands for talk, listen, and commit to your body's needs. It's a meditation that can take about 5 minutes, and it will really help you to release those energetic blocks that you might have, right? Any kind of fear or procrastination or an emotion. So it's really helpful. I think in the meditation that I share, it's around clearing fear and doubt specifically, but you can use it towards however you like. And there's also a meditation healing around visibility, since I know many people, it's like stepping out in the world, visibility fears have come up, right? For all of us. And so there's a visibility clearing. And one more thing in there. What is the last thing? Let me just peek at this for a second. Oh, this is important. How to, at the end of a day ritual. So at the end of a work day, how to release your clients. So I have a short guided meditation and process that I walk you through to really help just kind of let go of the day. Again, it can be for your family and friends, but I love, since it's for entrepreneurs, that I kind of have that visualize of letting go of the day, of the clients, of the Facebook feed, all the attention that comes your way can feel draining. And so that will be a really great way to play with for you.
Wow, what a abundance of gifts. That's so exciting. I thank you so much for a bundle of goodness right there. That's a lot of powerful goodness, I should say. So thank you for sharing your bright light, your beautiful bright light. You're such a successful, soulful entrepreneur, and I'm grateful not just to know you, but consider you a friend. And I've taken one of your classes. You're just super you're such a huge catalyst for change, but you're also a way to help us really realize our own power. And you're a door opener, but such a wonderful soul guide in the entrepreneurial world. But just as a person being here on the earth, I just have really enjoyed your gifts. And so I'm grateful that you're here with us and sharing your words of wisdom and nuggets. So thank you so much.
Thank you too. It's my pleasure. Have a wonderful day.